Salute, General, Iro, Musa, Etiquette. I'm affectionately referred to as General Etiquette, and I've been thinking. I've been thinking about a variety of subject matter, but today specifically, I was thinking about a video that I saw. So a good friend of mine tagged me in a video of a black news pundit essentially explaining the Band-Aid on the bullet wound theory and model to white people, right? Or to the major audience in aggregate. And essentially what he did was give a very heartfelt, honest, and transparent, right, response to this idea of, has America ever truly dealt with the racism and prejudice and turmoil and degradation of people of color? And the answer is absolutely no. Absolutely fucking not. And here's what's true. The truth of the matter is as Americans, we seem to have a hard time accepting accountability across the board, right? So let me put that out there. Across the board, we seem to have a hard time accepting accountability, right? And the thing is, the problem, as I see it, is that in order to acknowledge, you then have to start the process of reconciliation. And we all know that we live in a capitalistic society. We all understand that reparations and other means of retribution and or payback is what some people don't want to actually address, right? So my primary issue when people talk about getting over the peculiar institution, i.e. slavery, etc., is that they seem to always tend to leave out GI Bills that people of color were passed up over, which would have allowed us to gain homes, right? Veterans, military war veterans would have been allowed to come home, get loans, and move into different affluent suburban neighborhoods. And imagine the landscape and the scatter plot of people of color, right? If those sort of practices were done unbiasedly, right? You look at Jim Crow South, you look at Reconstruction, you look at voter suppression, you look at all of the different things that has happened to not only not address the peculiar institution and the forcible removal of us from our native homeland within the diaspora, but you marry that and couple that with everything that has been done in addition to slavery, right? Or as a reaction, or to try to garner some sort of silver lining because slavery had sort of run its course, right? And then you get into sharecropping, right? Which is slavery by another name. So really and truly, this friend of mine, she wanted me to do a reaction of sorts, right? And really the trouble is that the gentleman, he said it so well himself, but the truth is that America has never faced with the ugly truth of its history, and the truth is that it doesn't want to. We don't want to, because then we have to take very seriously, like I said, the process of reconciliation. All the lives that were destroyed, generations and generations on people of color, generations of wealth that was not had. Right, we'd have to take a lot of those conversations seriously. We would have to delve into the minutiae and the specificities of how it is that black people have arrived to where we are. Right, historiography, right, is the understanding of how we arrived where we are. And in order for us to have a civil conversation, or to start the conversations that will start to do some healing, that will start to address the gross inequity in terms of economics across the board, finances, education, a lot of the gross inequities in our communities, the funding, all of those things are active and proactive attempts to keep the feet on the neck of people of color. So then I'd ask you, how could we have a serious conversation? Have you ever apologized to anyone that you didn't intend on changing your behavior? around. It's sort of pointless. It's meaningless. So the truth of the matter is that I agree with the popular narrative and notion, which is that America and Americans don't want to have honest conversations surrounding slavery and reparations and what that may look like, because no one wants to actually have to move. No one wants to have to adjust. These systems that have been in place since there were a reason to exist, they don't want to alter their movements. They don't want to have to alter how it is that they go about things. So the long and short is really, we put Band-Aids on bullet wounds because we're not ready to tell the truth. We're not ready to try to reconcile for any of the cause of the pain and delays in the Black communities, the traumas, the suffering. As a country, we are not ready to tell the truth.